Green screen removal or chroma keying is a long used technique in the world of compositing, and it allows you to quickly and easily remove the background of a piece of footage while leaving the subject intact. In the past, the tools that were available to achieve a clean key were a little bit tricky to use, but lucky for us, we are living in the future and it's easier than ever to get rid of those pesky green screens. I'm Tom Graham for Envato Tuts Plus, and this is a Tuts Plus quick tip on how to use the chroma key tools in After Effects. First up, we're going to need two things. We're going to grab some footage that has been shot with a green screen, and then we're also going to find some suitable footage to composite in as the background, and we're going to grab those assets from Envato Elements. Now, Envato Elements is a super easy to use subscription service that gives you access to millions of creative assets that you can download and use in your projects right away, just like we're about to do. To learn more about Envato Elements, all you need to do is click that little link in the description down below. But right now, it's time to open up After Effects. Let's jump in. Alrighty, here we are in After Effects, and you can see I've got already my two layers lined up here. I've got our green screen footage in this little TV vintage section here, playing over the top, and then underneath I've got this like video game, retro video game kind of start title thing that I want to composite onto our TV screen here. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, what we want to do is we want to select the top layer with our green screen, go up to Effects and Presets, and if you don't see this, go to Window and go to Effects and Presets to make sure that that's there. And then you're going to search key. We're going to find something called key light. We're going to drag that onto our piece of footage that we want to key out. In this case, it's the top piece. And over here on the left-hand side in the effects controls panel, under screen color here, it's on black at the moment. If you select this little eyedropper and then select our chroma key green, basically that's as easy as it needs to be. Now you can see there's a little bit of stuff happening here where the transparency has not kind of held exactly how we need it to, but we will fix that up really quickly in a moment. You can go through and change a whole bunch of parameters in Keylight, and when you're doing things like masking hair and stuff like that, I really urge you to go through and play with all of these parameters, but this is a quick tips tutorial here, and I'm going to show you how to do it the really quick, simple, and easy way. But first off, let's finish our composition. So underneath, we've got this little screen. We want that to fit here onto our little TV screen. So we're gonna hit S on our keyboard with the bottom one selected just to bring up our scale parameters, and we're going to scale this down around about here. Going to hit P on our keyboard and just change the position of this a little bit, like so. We'll just play it through, make sure that's working how we want it to be. Yeah, so I'm just going to drag this up so our start happens a little bit earlier. Let's play that through. Cool, so that's kind of exactly where we want it to happen. Now you can see some of this transparency still going on in the background here. If I go up to our top one and I just turn our key light on and off, you'll see we're losing a whole bunch of color and a bit of transparency. So how can we fix that without kind of having to go in and change all of our parameters in Keylight? Well, it's super simple. We're going to right click down here, go New Solid. I'm going to bring a black solid up and we're just going to drop that black solid down underneath. Now we have still lost a little bit of color. As you can see here, we've got a bit of a color grade that's happening in the background here. Because we've gotten rid of this chroma key green, it's also taken a little bit of the green out of this blue here. So once we turn Keylight back on, it's a lot less graded, but it's okay. We can bring that grade back momentarily. So the other thing I want to do to sell this composition here, I want to create just a little push in on our top piece of footage here. So I'm going to bring up our scale properties on the top piece of footage, set a keyframe here, go to the end, give it a little bit of a push in, about so. And I'm not going to do any easing or anything like that. We're just going to do a slow dolly in. And you can see that obviously when I go through, the piece of footage underneath doesn't scale with it. It's really simple to do that. Making sure that we've got the piece of footage that's underneath selected, just grab this little pickwick here and parent it up to our top piece of footage. And now that's going to move with it. Perfect. Now, again, compositing is all about making two pieces of media kind of feel like one, and at the moment this doesn't really feel like one. So how can we kind of achieve that a little bit better just using some color grading tools? It's really simple. We're going to go up here, and first of all, I'm just going to bring the contrast back down of this centerpiece to kind of match our main piece of footage. So I'm going to search brightness and contrast. Going to drop that onto our little screen footage here. Going to bring the contrast all the way down and the brightness, sort of midway. That looks a little bit better. But now I'll just color grade the whole thing to kind of make it match and bring back some of that stylized grade that we had before. So I'm going to select both of these pieces of footage, right click. I'm going to go down to pre-compose and we'll just call this TV screen. Now on the TV screen, I'm going to get a Lumetri color effect and drag that on top. And then this is where we can just start to dial in some of that color that we had before. So going to bring up the saturation just a little bit, and then I'm going to play with our contrast. Bit more contrast in there. I'm going to drop the shadows just a little bit, and I'm going to pull down the highlights quite a bit as well. So I think that kind of is matching a little bit more now. Looks a little bit more contrasty, but we want to get some of that teal and orange in that we had before. So we'll go down to our color wheels here. What we want to do is we want to put a bit more blue, or I guess teal, into our shadows here. So we're just going to pull this down and then see how that's looking. And then in our highlights, we're going to just push towards orange a little bit to bring the hay out. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. So let's play it through and see what we think. So in really no time at all, what we've done is we've taken two separate pieces of footage, one that had green screen on it, removed the green screen, composited them both together, added this little dolly push in, and then kind of color graded everything together to make it feel like one coherent piece. And really, it didn't take us any time at all. So there are a lot of great tools in After Effects, and knowing the basics of how to use them is going to get you a long way in your compositing and editing journey. So I hope this helped you out. Let me know down in the comments what other quick tips you might want to learn about in After Effects, and if you liked the video, get subscribed. Until next time, happy editing.